Dave Palumbo here in Sydney, Australia. I'm at the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel here with my good friends Chris and Renee Schmidt, and we are about to start Australian Road Trip 2015. Chris, you've never experienced one of my day in the life of road trip videos. You look nervous.
I am nervous. I don't know what's going to go on.
Well, yesterday we had the great Guru training course. It was a raving success. We had 20 people there. I think everyone learned a lot. I've lost my voice a little bit. Your head exploded a little bit at one point.
Exploded,
you know? But today is going to be about having fun. You're going to show me some of the sights in Sydney.
Sydney Opera House, Sydney Harbour Bridge, hopefully, yeah.
And we're going to go also, we're going to see a very interesting reptile keeper by the name of Colin. You don't know who he is. I know you're a little afraid. Renee, you're not afraid of reptiles, are you? No, you're not. She looks like she'll hold anything. You are a reptile. I didn't know. He's reptilian. I didn't know that. But anyway, we're going to see some cool stuff that we don't see in the United States. So I know my fans out there, they want to see it. And so the burden of showing me the sights and making this video entertaining is falling on your hands.
Good.
So I know you like pressure. And so this should be great for you. Now, Renee, come here for a second. Get this guy out of the way. Renee just competed like 100 times this year. Yeah. Arnold, Australia, Pittsburgh Pro, New York Pro. You're now in, before that you weren't fun because you couldn't eat. Now you can eat though.
Fun.
And yeah, you guys took me to a great Thai restaurant last night.
Making up for this.
We had some great things. And we're actually about 6 feet away from a very good breakfast buffet. And I hear you're going to kill it today. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm going to impress you on the buffet.
Okay. So let's go see what we got to eat. I'm sure all you guys out there in RX Muscle Land want to see what a buffet looks like in Sydney, Australia. All right, I'm at the buffet here. Let's see what they got in Aussie land here. I got my plate. Congee. I thought congee was cream of rice or grits the other day. I hope. Don't put that on my plate. I got to put that in my cup. Hold on. I got to find out what congee is from these guys. What's congee, Chris?
I don't know.
I thought it was grits. It tasted pretty good the other day, though. So, all right. I got some congee. There's some sweet potatoes here. I never saw sweet potatoes on a breakfast buffet before, but I had them the other day. They were really good. So, put a little of those on there. Semi-dried tomatoes, not interested. Baked beans, nah. I like the mushrooms. Let's get sauteed mushrooms. I'm building my plate, it's called. This is called building your plate. Okay, got the mushrooms on there. I do not eat the veal sausages or the bacon or the ham. The scrambled eggs look okay, but I am going to get poached eggs, much healthier. All right, I'm sitting here down for my Aussie breakfast. They actually have salad on the breakfast buffet, so I can't turn that down. I have my sauteed mushrooms here, which are really good. I got my sweet potatoes. My eggs are on the way. I have 3 poached eggs coming. Because in Aussie land here, they mix milk into the scrambled eggs, and you know how I feel about milk. But there's one thing that will make this breakfast truly Australian, and that is the use of Vegemite. Now, I thought Vegemite was something like Spam, and I was horrified to even try it. But my fellow compatriots here, my mates, as you call it, say it here in Sydney, convinced me that Vegemite is just some kind of a yeast that's been fermented, or so to speak, and they use this when they get sick. They put it in their throat. Actually, it helps a sore throat. But you're supposed to spread this on your toast. So I have butter and I have Vegemite, and I'm gonna do a comparison taste test. So it looks interesting. It almost looks like chocolate pudding here. They're telling me that's thick, but you know what? If I'm gonna taste the stuff, I'm gonna taste it. All right. All right. So I got a little Vegemite here on this piece of toast, and on this piece of toast, I'm gonna put some butter. Some good old-fashioned American butter.
And Vegemite.
Oh, you want to put it together?
You put it together.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. If I can only get the butter open. There we go. Okay.
We get some coffee.
Butter and Vegemite. It's almost like peanut butter and jelly in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's actually turning, the butter and the Vegemite mixing together is turning red. So, all right, here we go. The final test before a road trip. 2015 Aussie starts.
Oh, 2 bites.
I can't say I love it, but I don't hate it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It's a very salty taste, and I'm into salt, so I probably would eat this. You know, once again, the mixture. I think the butter has given it has tamed down the taste a little bit. It might be a little strong by itself, but this is what they do here in Sydney, Australia. Eat Vegemite for breakfast. I'm Dave Palumbo. Stay tuned all day long. Aussie Road Trip 2015. All right, we're here at the Sydney Harbour, I guess you could say, bridge and harbour itself. I'm here with Matt, my good friend. And Matt, you know, you are the historian of this area. This is, what would this viewpoint that we're at here be?
We're at McMahon's Point on the north shore of Sydney now. That's obviously the Harbour Bridge, the Sydney Opera House. We've got the Sydney CBD.
That Opera House architecture is so amazing. When was that built?
In the 70s. It was designed by a Danish architect. I can't remember his name, but it was based off ship sail. So he wanted the building to look like.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And that's where Arnold Schwarzenegger won the 1980 Mr. Olympia.
Oh, that's where the Olympia was.
That's where the Olympia was. That was where that was held.
Right there at the Sydney Opera House. Now, if you look at this Sydney Harbour Bridge, you could actually walk up and over it. I will not be doing that because I do not like heights, nor do I think it's a good use of my time while I'm here. But I do love this harbour area. Now, I was thinking about relocating my whole operation here to Sydney, and I decided the only way I would do that is if I could buy and move into one of those apartments up there. Maybe our camerawoman could turn around. But you informed me that they go for how much?
About 5 to 10 mil.
That's a little past my budget.
A little bit.
So I'm not going to be moving to Australia because if I can't live there, I don't want to live anywhere. This is a great viewpoint. Now, I hear you do a lot of your photography shoots here.
Yeah, this is where I do a lot of my photo shoots. So down here, so the ones that are in A lot of the other girls.
Did you shoot Tony Freeman here too?
I shot Tony Freeman over the other side of Milson's Point there, so on the other side of the bridge.
You shot him while he was getting a colonic, is that true?
Yeah, while he was getting a colonic. They had the crew and the machine there, and it was hooked up to the bridge.
I would like to get some of that footage for the road trip video.
Yeah, you have to ask Tony.
All right, well guys, you got a great view here. Now we're going to be heading up north to find my good friend Colin and his reptile collection. You never know where we might stop along the way. These guys are my tours. We're here in Sydney, Australia, 2015. All right, I'm standing here with Colin Shoemark. We're finally here. We've been driving for about an hour and a half now, and we're going to learn a little bit about snakes and skinks here in Australia. Colin, explain what we got here.
This is an eastern blue tongue.
An eastern blue tongue skink, and they're called that because they got a blue tongue.
Yeah.
You might be able to see it if he pushes it out a little bit.
I'm sure I'll find one in there that's got one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had this guy here for 25 years now, so
he's like your original original.
This is the one that started the virus of the reptile keeping.
Now, what made you decide to get a blue tongue skink to begin with? What was the attraction to it?
Well, I don't know. I've always just been more of a lizard guy. Like, you know, it's got legs and more personality, I think, than a snake does. You know, so
yeah.
I do have snakes as well, but I have far more blue tongues than.
The blue tongue skink, for some reason, looks like, if you look at his head, it looks like about as close to a dinosaur as you can get.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it really looks reptilian.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can say it.
made for crushing.
Now, these jaws are very strong.
Oh yeah.
And that's because they eat snails, right?
Yeah, so
the wild?
you know, anything that can fit in their mouth, they'll eat. And yeah, basically they just crush, you know, maim and eat it. You know.
Hopefully your finger doesn't get in the way,
that's right. Yeah.
Now, obviously, being a reptile breeder, you want to have the original, but then you want to go beyond that.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Different colors, and you've been one of the most progressive breeders in the blue tongue skink.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple of us here in Australia, but yeah, I'm just one of them. Yeah.
Well, the stuff we're going to see here is something you can't see in America because they just don't exist there.
That's right. Yeah.
So why don't you take us inside and show us some of the good stuff?
No.
All right, we're inside Colin's reptile room now, and we're going to see what an albino blue tongue skink looks like. You won't see these in the United States anywhere.
Yeah.
Give us a show and explain to us. First of all, where did the first albino come from?
The first one was handed into a fauna park, I think, and then it went from there. I think Snake Ranch.
So someone found it basically in the wild.
Yeah, and then they worked from it there.
And you know, amazing that they actually survive because usually the albinos will stick out in nature, and usually the predators will get them. What are the predators to the blue tongues?
You know, like foxes, cats, domestic cats, dogs.
Cats will kill these things?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really? So you got lucky. Who found the first one, or who got the first one?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
So you bought a couple babies from someone, obviously.
But these are the original, the Eastern albino blue-tongue skinks. They're a bit sluggish and, you know, didn't go that well. And my mate Joe Ball has bred them with Kimberley Northerns. So they're 50% Kimberley Northern, 50% Eastern, and then a lot, you know,
sturdier and hardier.
Yeah, lots hardier. Feel like a normal lizard, like the old ones were like really.
And the great thing is, even the tongue is pink.
Yeah,
it loses its pigment. You know, from a blue tongue to a pink tongue, and they just have like the most human-looking tongues. I just think that's why people can really relate to these things. I mean, obviously, you got the red eyes of the albinos. You got no black pigment whatsoever, and this skink, because in, you know, what Colin just told me earlier is that this skink will here cost about $1,500, but in the United States they're probably worth, you know,
priceless pretty much.
$500,000 because they're priceless, right? Exactly. Now, what's the difference between these two?
The same, as just the variation in the albinos. You got more yellow, and that's a more purple one.
Yeah, I do see that. Now, can you breed for that different coloration, or is it kind of just random?
I haven't tried that yet, but I suppose you could, just like any polygenic sort of trait. So.
Right. Yeah. These are beautiful. Now, if this weren't enough, someone found another blue-tongue skink that is, I think my wife Amanda likes even better, and we got to show it to this because this is truly amazing. What do you call these, hyper-melanistic?
Yeah, or melanistic or black blue-tongue.
Black blue-tongue skinks. I mean, once again, just randomly occurring in nature?
Yeah, so pretty sure the story goes with this one. The original one was found in Bondi in Sydney. And then it went from there. The Snake Ranch got it, which was one of the biggest snake breeders in Australia at the time, and I started working with it was John Weigel. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, will these get bigger? These black ones? This looks like a pretty big.
No, this is pretty much it. That's
an adult. Okay.
You know, you do get the exception. I've got a couple of black ones there, a little bit bigger.
Now, this is a recessive trait, meaning that, you know, and this is a recessive trait, and I understand, you know, you've bred these two together.
Yeah. So my mate Joe's bred these together, and I've got a couple of double hets. So they appear normal.
So they look normal, but they carry the gene for black, and they carry the gene for albino.
That's right, yeah.
And now, obviously, the trick is you want to breed the double hets to each other to get the double homozygous form, which looks like...
Yeah, so basically it looks like this guy here, but he's pretty much all orange.
Okay. Now, you would think that a melanistic thing like this, when you made it albino, would be all white.
Yeah, but it's funny because the underlying figure here has got an orange belly.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And you do have some, like when they're a little bit bigger, you can see the orange banding, so on top. They do have orange bands under this black, so.
Okay, now if you have an all black and you have an albino, I guess the next step would be trying to get an all white.
Yeah.
Have they perfected that yet, or are you guys still working on that?
Yeah, some of those as well.
Let me hold this for you.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's close.
Yeah.
But you see here, albino, almost white.
Yeah.
Do you think that you guys will be able to perfect this to where it's jet white?
Yeah, there are people that have them here already, yeah. Again, you know, it's recessive, this one, and within this is polygenic, so like you've seen with the albinos.
Right.
You'll get, you know,
so you have to try to breed the ones that are more and more white.
More white one and a white one, you breed them together.
And how easy are these to take care of? I see you feed them cat food, is that it?
Yeah, cat food, yeah, so nothing... So you rack them exactly like a python.
Yeah, this is exactly how you would see, you know, a ball python.
I've got my males on paper at the moment, so I can just monitor when because they're coming out of hibernation.
So you hibernate these, and then after hibernation, you heat them up, and then they start breeding?
Yeah, and so this is what's happening at the moment. These guys are starting to shed. So when the male's fully shed and dropped his sperm plugs, he's good to go.
Oh, explain what this is. I mean, this is obviously carpet python.
Yeah, so this is a Darwin carpet python, but it's 100% heterozygous for albino, or albino.
As we say albino, you say albino. I actually like, when I go to Australia, I like to talk like the Australians do.
Yeah.
I use all their little abbreviations. Yeah.
You can do it with Brinals.
Now, this is a mature breeding size
so she's in
female.
With a boyfriend at the moment. She's in here.
So obviously is he an albino, pure albino carpet? From Darwin?
He's a pure albino Darwin carpet python.
Right. He's cool.
Yeah.
And obviously the carpets are a lot longer, but not quite as thick as the American pythons that we see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so obviously if you breed him to her, you're going to get 50% albinos from this litter. All right, I had to have you show us this, Colin. This is a rough scale python, excuse me. You guys call them roughies because you always have abbreviations for everything here in Australia. Shorter, and you can't see this obviously on camera, but you can feel this is super, like, I guess you could say they stick up the scales a little bit.
Yeah, they're rough,
And that's why they call it that.
They're rough scale.
Now, in the wild, what would be the benefit of having this type of rough scale?
I believe, like, just with where they're from, like gripping into crevices and
holding onto rocks and stuff.
They're usually found hanging, trying to eat bats and stuff, which you can see.
They have the craziest fangs. Look at those things. Why do they have such long teeth and the other carpets don't?
Their diet is predominantly birds and stuff like that. So they got to get through the feathers and grab hold of these animals.
It's survival, so to speak, of the fittest. All right, this is the one I've been waiting to see. This is the olive python, that is the albino olive python, which you don't really see much anywhere. Especially, you're not going to see it in the United States, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Explain to me.
Perfect.
High protein.
Yeah.
We just got a protein shake. I just missed me.
Okay. You trying to bite up?
It's alright. I'm good. Okay.
They either bite or shit. So.
All right. We just left Colin's house. We are now at the world famous McDonald's, known as Macca's here in Australia. They twisted my arm. They made me come here. I haven't eaten at McDonald's. I know I haven't been loyal to McDonald's in a very long time, but I figure if I'm going to come here, I'm going to get one of my old favorites. They don't have triple cheeseburgers in the U.S. anymore. I used to have to make my own, but guess what? Here in Australia, they got triple cheeseburger. Chris, do they have any nicknames for these triple cheeseburgers here? No.
No, not really.
3 patties with cheese. You know what? I forgot to tell them to hold the pickles and the onions. I don't really like that, but I'll probably pull these pickles off. And I got a large fry, which I got to be honest with you, is not really that large. This would be a medium fry in McDonald's in the United States. I probably should have gotten the, do they have supersize here, fries? No. So this is the biggest I could get. I guess I got to order 2 of them. All right, so guys, I know you love to watch me eat McDonald's. I haven't had one of these since I was in Amsterdam.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong I did have it. You're right, Amanda. Hong Kong I had one. All right, here we go. I think I might have had an orgasm just now. Unbelievable. I'm like, my taste buds are reignited. I think I just added an inch to my biceps just from that one bite. And of course the French fry to top it off. With a little Cool Ridge water. It doesn't get much better than this. Special surprise for you guys. We're going to be going to Peter Birch's house. He just got back from South Africa, one of the leading reptile breeders in all of Australia. Stay tuned.
That's a secret here.
I'm standing here. We're here at Peter Birch's place. He just got back from South Africa, so we're not going to torture him too much. What do you got here for us, Pete?
This is a Kimberley rock monitor. I mean, look at those amazing colors and patterns.
That is crazy. Very strong claws, too. Now, are these, how big will these get?
That's an adult male right there. That's as big as they get.
This is cool, yeah. Now, do they like to bite?
Not really. Typically, these guys aren't a bitey animal, but look at that tail. That tail is 2.5 times the length of its body. That's an amazing animal. That tail is very well banded, and like I said, that markings, it's like Aboriginal paint.
Yes, it does. It looks like my friend Matt's. Looks like you're back, Matt. This is amazing. Look at that face. See, this is a monitor that you can actually handle. I mean, that you can actually, it doesn't outgrow your house, so to speak.
I mean, if you think that's cool,
yeah.
Check out this guy. This is what they call a Gillen's or a pygmy mulga monitor. This is my cheeky little friend. That's adult size.
Wow, now that's a nice little house pet right there. And what will these eat?
That will eat just about anything. So any bugs, any insects, anything like that. And he'll also take pink mice.
Oh, you
or
can
even
feed him pink mice.
A bit of mince with some supplements.
Right. Look at that guy.
So he'll run up and just sit on your shoulder. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty relaxed.
That nice red eye, you can see. He's just like a little dinosaur guy. And do you breed these?
Not yet. I haven't bred them yet. No, I've got a little colony. I've got a trio there, and I've got this single male up here.
Now, this guy is looking really interesting. Explain what he is.
The parenti. So that parenti there is about, she's about 10 months old. So as a baby, you know, she's probably
gonna
about
be
that
big.
big.
She's going to be
She's
big.
going to grow to about 3.5 meters. Australia's largest
Oh
monitor.
my God.
The 4th largest monitor in the world.
Wow.
So, and apparently these guys are so closely related directly to the Komodo dragons.
I was going to say, they look like Komodo
yeah.
dragons a little bit. And will you try to breed these?
Well, that's the hope, is eventually we'll try and breed them. There's a few people in Australia breeding them with some really great success. And obviously, you know, the more we can breed them, the more they'll be in captivity, and hopefully, you know, they're going to serve a really great place as a pet.
Amazing. Amazing. She's big. Is she going to shed?
Yeah, she's blue. So you can see the difference in the body shape.
And what, she's just a female first?
This is a female albino olive python.
Okay. And explain, these are very rare, obviously. You don't see these in the United States anywhere.
Yes, I believe there's a couple of people with them in the US.
Oh, really?
How they made this.
We don't know how they got them, though.
But they're there, and I mean, in Australia, they're relatively a difficult species to breed, the olive python.
Why is that?
It just happens to be, they're just to be the sketchiest breeders around. I mean, you see a lot of good lockups. They start doing everything right. The females lay inverted. And then they'll roll up the other way and start eating, and you'll never get any eggs.
Really? And that's and so what's the tricks to getting them to actually mate successfully?
I think it's the feeding. So you got to feed very heavily right before you want to cool them and start cycling them, and then hopefully you're in a good chance for the females to do the right thing. And it seems to work pretty efficiently.
This is usually olive pythons are not like this big thick pythons like you see in the boas or the Burmese or anything like that. Look at this guy. But they're so long, they can get away from me. But this female is huge. What does she eat? Explain to my audience how much this female can eat.
So basically, this female here can eat like a 2 kilogram rabbit.
And how big is that? Like this big?
A 2 kilogram rabbit, yeah, is probably about that big, like a small cat.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So
where do you get rabbits from these two?
Well, you can actually buy them from certain areas that produce them. So they're just frozen. You defrost them, and
are rabbits better for them than rats?
I think when they get bigger, it's just about filling the hole as quickly as possible, and rabbits do the job very easy. Otherwise, you've got to feed them 2 to 3 large rats.
Unbelievable.
Sometimes large rats can be full of fat.
Exquisite.
So,
now, are you going to be hoping to get some babies from these guys?
Yeah, well, these guys produced a nice clutch of slugs last year. So it was so close, but that was this female's first time she's ever been bred. She's 9 years old, and the male there is about 5 years old.
Have you had her since she was born?
I haven't. I've only had her for 2 years. So the previous owner never tried to breed her. I've put a lot of condition on her. She did produce a clutch of slugs, which means she's doing everything right. So now it's up to him to do the right thing. But I put these guys.
Let me have a little talk with you. You're going to do the right thing.
Yes, you need to do the right thing.
But a lot of money.
They put them together early in the year, like early in their season. Probably my problem is I didn't reintroduce him back again just to make sure.
Gotcha.
So maybe she got all the crappy sperm basically.
We got to work them. We got to have a talk with. We'll have Matt have a talk with them.
Yes.
This is just incredible. These animals are incredible. Look, this doesn't get much better than this, guys. Are those deadly? This is a death adder. Death adder.
It's a neurotoxic venom which attacks your nerve cells.
You don't handle these, do you?
Not unresponsible.
No.
Where are they from?
So you can get them around the Australian basin.
Oh, really?
Sydney Basin, yeah.
Sydney Basin?
Yeah. The death adders inhabit quite a large area of Australia.
Okay.
So we're talking all New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory, Western Australia, and through the top of South Australia.
That is cool.
Never seen one before.
At this size here, they've got a fang that's probably equivalent to like 1/2 inch.
That'll probably hurt, yeah.
So for the size of the animal, it is quite large.
They inject on first or second strike, or just?
These guys won't bite unless they're certain of hitting them.
Certain of hitting, yeah.
26 hundredths of a second is their strike.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it'll hit you and pull back before you realise you've been hit.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's
Black-headed python, which could potentially bite me, according to Peter. So I know the risks involved here. Hopefully it won't happen. But I know Amanda wants to definitely hold this because she loves these black-headed pythons. And hey, it was a great day at Pete's. He showed us all his great stuff. We got to see the hugest Australian python, and we also got to see the smallest python in the world. So it doesn't get much better than this. All right, we're here at Mamak, a Malaysian restaurant here in Australia. And Australia has a lot of multicultural restaurants. And I've actually never been in a Malaysian restaurant, although I guess you can consider Thai a Malaysian restaurant. Now, we're starting off the first course with roti, it's called. It's a kind of bread, Malaysian bread. And if you look at it here, it's kind of like rolled out, and then they put some oil on it, and then they flatten it, and it's just like very thin bread. And I guess you basically dip it in these different sauces, which I have a feeling are very, very spicy. So I don't know what they are. This is probably the hottest. I'll go in the first one, and I'm going to taste this. Very hot, a little spicy, but I like it a lot. I love the different tastes of like these Asian foods. I love Japanese, I love Thai, and now I'm a Malaysian guy, and I haven't even ordered yet, but I'm gonna have something very unique for you guys. I always eat the same thing. I'm coming out of my box, and I'm gonna open my mind up to some new flavors for my palate. Stay tuned. All right, the main course is here. I have something called nasi lemak. It looks like a jasmine white rice. There's peanuts, egg, cucumbers, and a sauce. I actually thought it was going to come all mixed together, but it didn't, so I'm going to have to mix it up myself a little bit here. And so I guess it's a little bit of a tasty rice. That sauce is good. I like it. But this is my main dish, chicken curry. Now, I thought it was going to be breast meat. It's a little bit on the bone here. I'm going to have to work a little bit to get my chicken off.
Oh, it's good.
There's potatoes in here. I have a big plate of rice somewhere around here. To me, the curry, the taste of it is addictive almost. It's like after you eat it, you want to eat more of it. You can be full and you can't stop eating it. And I guess that's why people are so addicted to curry. And if you've never had curry, a lot of people are afraid because they think it's too spicy. You can tell them to temper the spices. I kind of got like a mild to moderate curry, and it's not burning my mouth. I love it. I'm eating it. It's something different I don't taste all the time. Got to go out of that box. Once again, the Australian road trip just hasn't ended and might not end for quite a while. Let's see where we go next. The day is almost over. What a great time. We got to spend time with Chris and Renee Schmidt, Matt Napick, our three great new friends here. We met some other new friends. Our friend Colin, who has the amazing Taliqua, as they're called scientifically speaking, blue-tongued skinks, showed us some amazing reptiles. And then we got to see someone who I didn't think we were going to get to see, Peter Birch, who was back from his safari in South Africa with Brian Barczyk, and we got to see his whole collection. Doesn't get much better than that. It was so exciting. Then we got to eat some great food, Malaysian for the first time in my life. And you know what? This was a terrific road trip, 2015 Australian style. Hey, we do it all over the world. This is Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com saying you'll never know where to see us next time.